Today I'm going to introduce you to a very slick and different head and arm choke that a lot of you probably haven't seen. We're going to cover two different entry points to get to this choke. One from the Anaconda and then one from that 3/4 Nelson Darce kind of style setup. So firstly, let's take a look at this. How do we get here from the Anaconda? So when we're looking for the Anaconda, you can see Nicky Ryan here is setting it up, and he's putting his leg on top of that elbow, and he has that Anaconda grip almost set. You can see that he's kind of holding it. He hasn't flipped his hand to the top, but instead he switches it into the neck. So take a look again from here. You can see he's almost there, right? He hasn't flipped the arm up. He's actually cupping the tricep of the other arm. But you can see right in a moment, he switches down to that guillotine grip and goes right into the neck with a perfect bite. Like the guy didn't have his chin tucked at all. And then he covers his wrist with his leg. From here, the head and arm are isolated. Nicky Ryan's forearm is flush right on that artery. And you can see as he starts to pressure his hip in, he starts to hip in to the back of the guy's head. It presses everything together and it starts to get the choke. You can see the mechanism of this choke is the same with all head and arms. You're covering that artery with one of your limbs or whatever, and then the other side is going to be with their arm or their shoulder, and then you just compress everything together, and that'll start to restrict the breathing. So you can see that right here, he's not bad. He's not in a terrible position. His elbow's down. It's not right above his head. But as Nicky Ryan starts to kind of hip into the back of his head, you can see that it all starts to compress. You can see his face getting more red, and eventually that choke is really on. So this is going to be the Anaconda transition. So when we're going for an Anaconda, instead of bringing our hand all the way up, we're going to leave it down. When we're ready, we're going to go back to our guillotine grip, go right on their neck, and then we're going to cover our wrist with our leg. From there, we're going to keep our wrist covered, and we're going to start to hip into the back of his head as we tripod on our toes and our forehead. And you can see the pressure that goes on right there. Right there, just hipping into the head makes that choke really tight. Now we're going to take a look at this from this 3/4 Darce style setup. So in this case, he's going to squeeze his elbows in and he's going to drop his opponent to the side, like a typical what happens with a lot of Darce setups. But look at how his opponent goes to his back. A great defense to a Darce, but when your opponent is going to start to go for this modified head and arm, that's exactly where you don't want to be. I feel like this can prove very useful because a lot of times from this position, when we kind of flip them onto their back, they know we're going to look for that Darce. So if instead we want them to flip to their back so that we can transition to this modified head and arm, look at that. Look at how he kind of scoops up that head with his body, with his hip, and covers his grip. And then as he starts to hip in and start to bend the neck into his forearm, the forearm that's covering the carotid artery on the right side of his opponent, the choke starts to get really tight. And it's kind of like you can see his arms up against his head. Same thing as last time, just a different setup, different transition. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys got some value out of that. I definitely did, like I always do when I make these videos. And try this out in the training room. Leave a comment on how it goes. I'm going to do the same. And yeah, till next time, guys. Like and subscribe to support the channel. And talk soon.